Koto Akutawida. In this video lesson, we're going to talk about finding the gradient of a line segment. Now, the gradient refers to the slope of a line or line segment, which simply means how steep the line is. A nearly flat line has a low gradient, and the steeper the line gets, the bigger the gradient gets. You could think of it like the steep bits on a roller coaster. Now, the gradient is a measurable quantity, not just a fancy word in Scrabble. Okay, by assigning a number to the gradient, we can see exactly how steep it is. Again, the higher the number, the steeper the line. So a gradient of 0.5 is fairly flat. A gradient of 1 gets a little steeper, a gradient of 2 even steeper yet. So you see the gradient depends on how the line rises for every unit that it runs. Let's see what this means. So you should have heard this before, that the rise over the run tells us the gradient of a line. So first, you need to pick 2 points that the line passes through and choose points rather, that are easy to read. Specifically, choose a point that's at the intersection of that background grid. So the point -3 and 6 is a good point to choose because it's at the intersection of the background grid. This next point right there is not a good point because it's kind of in between the background grid. Where this point over here, 3, -3 would be a good one. That point there, 1, 0 is a good choice because it's easy to get the accurate coordinates. Same thing with that one right there, which would be -1 and 3. Always choose points at the intersection of the background grid. Once you've done that, you want to find the rise, which is the vertical distance between the 2 points, and it can be positive or negative. Let's look at this one. In this case, from this point to this point, we see that the rise actually goes down. It goes down by 9. Now you want to find the run. The run is always positive. The run will always be positive, okay? Just like you read a sentence from left to right, please also look at these lines going from left to right, okay? So the rise in this case went down by 9, and now the run, Tahirua Toru Farima Ono. So there is the run of 6. And now the gradient, or the steepness, is going to be a fraction made up of the rise, -9, over the run, 6. And that's what we see right here. The gradient of the line is rise over run. This is going to be a fraction, -9 over 6. You can simplify that. -9 over 6 simplifies to -3 over 2. If you wanted to leave it as a decimal, -1.5, they're equally good. And it doesn't matter if you consider an entire line or just a small segment. The important thing to remember is the gradient is always the same no matter which points you use to calculate it. So the gradient of a line never changes no matter what points you use. And we're going to use the letter M to represent the gradient. So we can say for that a given line, the value of M, the gradient is always the same. And when it's always the same, we say that is constant, okay? So that is our second skill, being able to find the gradient of a line segment. Thanks for watching. Any questions, let me know. Mauri mahi, mauri ora, ka kite ano.